And Kevin O'Leary, Mr. Wonderful himself, was on the show this week saying, well, it'll take 3 months for gas prices to get to $7 a gallon. I mean, if gas sits at $7 a gallon in 3 months, I mean, how many seats are Republicans losing in the House exactly?
A lot. A lot. That's super bad news. And we're going into the driving season in the summer where that will exacerbate the problems. A couple of things. No, number one, we get into the president's thinking here. He has the opportunity to take out the top 40 in the regime, and he has a moment of intel gathered by Israel and the United States. You take that moment or you don't. And I think had we wanted to take any action against Iran without taking out the leadership of Iran, we would have more Americans, more human beings killed as a result of our inaction. So he took this action knowing that the economic peril to the United States could be severe, but he thought on balance is the right thing to do. I think that is a very important thing, and I'd be interested to hear the Democratic reaction to that fact. Second, the question of gas prices. Look, the prediction on commodities markets for lay people, even people that watch the market closely, is wildly inaccurate. Gas prices can go up much faster. My expectation, and a lot of market watchers' expectation, was that prices would be much higher now. But for the fact the United States produces more than it consumes in oil and natural gas, we would be in a very different situation as Americans, and even a generation ago, than we are today. So I think the question now is, where do things end up? How quickly is this done? And how quickly can you get the Strait of Hormuz open? That will have the impact on gas prices and our economy and the election.
Well, and of course, one big question, Tolu, I want to play what the Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent had to say about Russian oil, which is under sanction because we don't want them to make money that they can then spend on the war in Ukraine. But here's what Bessent said this week. Watch.
In the coming days, we may unsanction the Iranian oil that's on the water. It's about 140 million barrels. So depending on how you count it, that's 10 days to 2 weeks of supply.
So, excuse me, he was talking about Iranian oil there, which of course would finance the war that they're waging against us. What does that tell you?
Well, they've already taken sanctions off of Russian oil, so they've already taken that step, which was unpredicted at the beginning of this. Now they're considering taking sanctions off of Iranian oil, releasing more oil from Venezuela, releasing more oil from this Strategic Petroleum Reserve. They are taking a number of steps that do look desperate in some ways, in part because none of this was telegraphed to the American people, that your gas prices are going to go up. We're going to take all of these various measures to try to, stem the blow. And people don't realize that all of these steps are being taken, and the gas prices are still going up. And so it does make it hard to explain why this is necessary, why this is the step that this president is taking, and how Americans should expect their gas prices to be in the weeks and months to come. Whether this is going to be short-term or a temporary blip or something that takes much longer is a big question that remains to be answered.
Well, and Kate, it does seem as though, we showed some of the polling in the last block, but that same poll shows that just 2% of Americans blame Joe Biden for gas prices, which of course the president keeps trying to blame Joe Biden for the economy, or he has in the past anyway.
Yeah, so I think that's just a factor of our incredibly hyper-partisan politics. I think there are 2%.
Should it be higher, though?
2% of
Should it be higher?
2% of people are going to blame Joe Biden for anything you throw out there. So, but I think a couple things. To your point about seizing the opportunity to take out a horrific despot who did potentially pose some threat to the United States, I would say essentially every president, for the last almost 50 years has grappled with that question. I think had the Trump administration attacked this, sort of to Tolu's point, had the Trump administration attacked this with a sense of planning, preparation, had they communicated effectively that this is why they were taking that action, I think they would be in a very different place. And you're right, there are plenty of Democrats who would say we should seize that opportunity. But we've heard 100 reasons from the administration from day one, starting from Trump to Rubio to Vance to others. And so, how is the American public supposed to absorb a sense of sacrifice, a sense of I'm willing to pay more for gas because we took out somebody who was a threat to the United States and a threat to freedom around the world? I mean, you're asking people to to sacrifice for something that you're not even justifying to them why you've done it. So that's what I would say to that.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's interesting you say that. I want to play the Republican Senate candidate in Minnesota, Michelle Tafoya, said a version of this, right? A pitch to voters like, "Hey, let's all rally behind the flag, sacrifice a little bit for this." I want to show you that argument. We'll talk about it.
I know it's frustrating, and I know it's hard for people. What I would say to them is we've lost some service members over there who have put their lives on the line to protect us. I think right now, at least just kind of keeping a stiff upper lip. Maybe you take one less trip to Starbucks, and so that gas goes a little further until this thing is over and these gas prices come back down again. Let's just try to be patriots about this.
Congressman, do you think that's going to work?
No, it didn't work when the Biden administration tried it. And all the efforts that the Biden administration efforts they put in to reduce the cost of the pump, which was managing global supply, all these really intricate, detailed things that do have this really significant impact on the price of oil. Those things do matter to our domestic politics. Shared sacrifice, not a winner in this day and age, and a very hard line. The real through point here is the president on the geopolitical stage reordering everything to the benefit of the American people and our safety. That should be the message, and that's what we need to hear from the administration.
All right, fair enough. Coming up next.